Coming to our conclusion of our European inaugural day here at the Smite Pro League, we've got one more match on the docket. SK Gaming trying to claw themselves out of the basement versus Obey, a team that also has had some struggles along the way. Their new support iRaffer, although it's been 2 splits, don't know if we can still say new, but still certainly fresh and wet behind the ears. They have not seen the success that they've hoped for since making that trade.
And this is an interesting matchup as well, because I think both of these teams kind of left open-ended statements at the end of that summer split. We saw tweets and just comments from both Obey and SK players stating, wait until fall.
Yeah.
And now fall is here. Both of these teams left us in the summertime saying, wait until fall. And I think that now this will be a very telling set as to what we can maybe expect from not just the winner, but also the loser throughout the duration of the fall split. Because it's one thing for a loss in a set to occur. It's another thing entirely depending on how heavily impacted that loss actually is. And I feel as though SK, if they end up dropping, or if they end up beating Obey, I should say, and that's going to be I think it would be a pretty hard blow to Obey.
Yeah, it certainly might be. Picks and bans on the way. Let's see if that's going to be the case. Taco, I'll tell you right now who I'm looking at. The jungle. CaptainTwig, sure, he's had his struggles a little bit here and there. He's also had some good games. Faeles, on the other hand, has had a little bit more negativity than positivity. But when he does turn up, he really does turn up. And for what it's worth, Faeles, a fantastic Naja player. This is his meta, as they like to say, or it should be. So we'll see if that really turns around being a victory. Looking at the first bans, no Baron Samedi, no Giannis either. 2 more bans coming out from SK and Obey. Of course, option over to Obey at the moment. They're going to take out that Naja. Must be doing their homework, although this is sort of the quintessential Faeles god. So I don't know how much homework there is to do other than the basic, we already know that this is going to happen. First pick for Obey, where are they going?
There's Athena that's still on the table. I think that Athena is still a relatively strong pick. She's a safe pick also, which is important here, but gonna be Freya. We're opening it up with a lot of damage. If you're an Obey fan, this could be a promising start. It could also be a dangerous one, because sometimes I do feel as though Freya can provide a certain air of confidence that maybe you shouldn't have, because she does a ton of damage, but
Sure.
she's also incredibly squishy.
I just want to make sure I don't want this to be PrettyPrimes.
You don't want it to be PrettyPrime? I don't see any other way for this to go.
I mean,
you do not want Freya in duo lane.
Can Freya work in the jungle yet?
I wouldn't want to put her there.
No?
That's the main reason why you tend to see Freya heading into the mid lane as opposed to duo is because she's just too vulnerable in the jungle and in duo. Even if you try to toss her into solo, I think that a jungler could still reasonably gank her off cooldown and get away with securing their own jungle buff can't farm. And that also is, I'm pretty certain that we're going to be getting some Freya mid lane action. I wouldn't throw it past Twig, however, to try and flex it for the jungle.
My thing is, before we recap the first half of the draft, is that sort of how I felt about Soul on Wolfie, or Wolfie on Soul earlier, despite the win. Wolfie and PrettyPriMe are 2 mages that I want to see on the traditional mages, really. I think they really excel playing those characters, the Zeuses, the Poseidons, so maybe a little bit out of what we're used to seeing from PrettyPriMe, but still certainly a powerful character in her own right. Half of the draft gone. Nox, Robin, and Chernobog for SK. Obey going with the Freya that we've spoken so much about, the Athena, and the Jingwei. And right now, just off of power alone, Athena, Jingwei, and Freya, I'm looking at Obey. I think they have the power picks on their side of the board.
They've got power, but I like SK's composition a lot more so far. There's plenty of damage to be had. I like that there's a little bit of global presence also with this Athena. That's probably the best part about having the Freya and Jingwei on their side, because you want those carries to be protected pretty heavily. But there's something to be said about Chernobog and the Living Nightmare. It is just such a deadly ultimate, because Jingwei, she can try to match that rotational speed, but she'll never get there at the exact same moment that you want her to be. Kuzumbo also is a really interesting flavor pick here. I love seeing Kuzumbo against high burst gods like the Jingwei, like the Freya. even Obey doubling down now with the Erlang Shen, who could find himself in a little bit of trouble against that Kuzin.
Yeah, the basic attack characters get punished by the turtle, and seeing the Kuzin both pick, I probably would have shied away from the Erlang Shen, but Obey going to stick to their original draft plans and go with the Doggo Man, Sobek, to really wrap things up there. SK Gaming now looking for a mid laner. We're going to see a Nox support, a Nox solo. I'm not, you know what, the last time I tried to say where these characters were going, I got shot in the foot. So.
I'm going to go Nox support,
okay,
Kuzumbo solo, and Discordia for the mid lane. I think Robin's in the jungle.
Yeah, I think that's probably most accurate, but there's certainly some flexibility there. Who's going to win? Will it be SK's flexible and ambiguous draft, or Obey putting their Freya in the mid lane, taking a traditional mage out of the hands of PrettyPriMe? And I want it to be clear here, folks at home, I'm not doubting PrettyPrime's ability to play the
it's
character.
Just we know what players are best at,
exactly.
Or at least we get to watch them play certain gods, and there's a certain nature behind different kits and like different god purposes that I think a player like PrettyPriMe is better suited for, obviously, like Vulcan or or even, I mean, he's got a pretty nasty Nox too. I think that he definitely does tend to fare a little bit better with the more traditional mages, but I am excited to see what he can bring out with the Freya.
Freya's a wild card. Will it be enough? Well, let's take a look after the river. It's Hindu Man and his aggression on the cast.
No, I'm not that idiot with me. Thank you. I'd rather take the other idiot instead. It's just aggro.
That's right.
Mr. Ryan Bailey alongside us. These comps aggro. Ooh-wee.
Yeah, always something new to be ready for, I suppose. Look, Freya mid, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of it, at least for the first few weeks. Look, you've been around long enough to know as well as I do, if not better, that this is always what happens with Freya, no matter if it's this kid or the old kid. The community literally sobbing, just drowning in their own tears about how Freya is oppressive and can't be beat under any circumstances. And then pros are like, okay, we'll like ban her a little bit, we'll pick her a little bit.
Hold up though, but
and then it turns into she's not winning games. It is what it is, and then we just move on from there.
Problem is that with Freya and anything, when you look at the general community versus Pro League play, you have 5 members of the team that play regularly together and work as a unit.
Of course.
Your average game, it's barely having 2 friends that can function and not be bronze at the same time that makes it a bit more of a struggle.
It is. I'm not saying that she isn't good. That's not the argument. All I'm saying is we're going to be seeing a good amount of Freya mid at first. I think it won't be as good as people are expecting, and then it'll fall off a little bit. Is my prediction.
I'm just looking at the moment where Ataraxia started. He started at speed buff because CaptainTwig went and invaded the red buff on the left-hand side. So with that Jingwei passive, Ataraxia gets back to wave and gets a bit more farm again. Twig now looking to go aggressive in the jungle on Funballer, forcing the shell early on HalfDevil sprint put by iRaffer. The chase is on.
No, this isn't going to get a kill, I don't think, because that sprint isn't upgraded, but it is going to at least force SK off of their own buff. Now, if it goes down in favor of Obey, which did it not? Because iRaffer didn't pick it up there. I wonder if that was an auto attack that snuck through.
I believe it was.
And HalfDevil was the one to grab it there. That's rough for Obey. Now, this does mean that Twig can go over and secure the enemy back harpies. He's still not losing too much farm overall, but it's going to start to tilt in Faeles' favor very quickly. As you see, he goes over, steals away the XP harpies, and I would have loved to see him loop underneath and go for those back camps on the left-hand side right there, but instead he's coming to split this mid wave.
I did see what Faeles did in that right was really smart, though. Just side for side. We've seen this a lot of times, even though in the second half of the season now, splitting the map up, pressure for Obey left, pressure for SK right. Problem is when you look at the right lane of what you could potentially get over there for SK Gaming, it's a Sobek.
It is, and you're not going to be able to secure your own blue in that spot, but he also doesn't need his blue that badly right now, so could be safe. And I really love this start from Obey, not because it sets Twig up for success, but because it sets Ataraxia up for success. Not only does he get a speed buff, but he also gets to bat. He started with boots 2, backs finishes Ninja Tabi right away, and gets to lane with that and some potions in tow because he's so close to being able to finish it already. I think it's really smart.
Bit of pressure between the two there. HalfDevil's game plan here is definitely use these silences and roots at the right moment. It's not for damage. It's for control or defense. And in all fairness, that trouble puddle that you see coming out from Nox time and time again shuts down so many carries that want to get into melee range. And when you look at Obey's squad, there's a few of those on that team.
There are. iRaffer wants to get close to taunt you, and you can just lay it at your feet, and that won't really work for him anymore. Twig is going to be trying to use 72 transformation to disrupt your team fight or to escape. Silence shuts both of those down very, very well. Now, Twig will still get the shield from his 72 transformations if he goes into the turtle form, but it still won't be able to do the damage, which really Erlang Jungle needs to be able to do.
Funballer knocked down to half health there on this Chernobog that has made its way into competitive play. Is a very highly picked, contested god, I would say. Either banned or picked majority of the time. Fallen a little bit from favor from where he once was, but still a solid pick.
Still very, very good, without a doubt. I think that Chernobog is going to be the most heavily prioritized hunter for a little bit longer, though Jingwei certainly on the rise. I think that this isn't going to be the last we see of Jingwei. I know Taco's been saying that she really thinks Jingwei's in a good spot right now.
Well, don't ask Taco. Taco don't know what she's talking about. She was talking about Artemis being good. Oh, wait, she was. Lawbster in the mid lane, going to eat the 1-2 combo from Prime. Not as bursty at that moment, but it is only level 5.
Only level 5, and you want to level that 1. I always want to call it a Radiate because that's what it used to be called. I don't even, I'll be honest with you, I don't know the new one quite yet.
I don't off the top of my head.
Gotta get there, but I will. Well, yeah, can I get a little help here? Okay, Northern Lights, and the 2 is Aurora Blade, right? Okay, I knew that one. Okay, so I'm back, baby. Banish and Valkyrie's Discretion, that's easy. So you
Wait,
want to...
it's called Banish? I thought it was a Whoop.
No, it's Banish. It's always been Banish.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone just calls it. You get to level that first ability. That's where your burst damage comes from. You can just kind of rely on that to clear the wave with, and you don't want to be using too many shots of your 2 anyways, because it does really, really drain your mana very, very quickly.
And so that's what's going to be seen so far. No ganks so far in this game. Faeles on the Raven, which seems to be more popular once again in the jungle, heading into the full split right now with how things are going. Is that because of the changes to him becoming an assassin now, so he's got a bit more damage?
It's almost like a reminder, like, hey, this god is good. You should probably play him. Funball is not in a good spot himself. Ataraxia, don't know if he had the dash available there, because I don't. If he did, then he just dropped first blood.
I think he was playing it safe more than not, just in case it didn't come out of the wall as quick. Maybe. I want to say that's the case. Anyway, mid lane Banish out, but not connecting with Faeles or HalfDevil there. HalfDevil now making this rotation towards mid lane, has the cooldown boots, which is pretty much standard on every support choice at the moment.
Yeah, so going back to Robin, I think it was kind of a reminder, like, yo, this god is pretty good, but also the fact that he just gets that extra bit of movement speed now with the passive change, or kind of add-on to his passive to make him feel a little bit more assassin-like. His damage is still phenomenal. His escapability, slipperiness is still T1. He's got good enough control out of the jungle. Robin's just a really good character that's very hard to punish, and I think that we will see some more of him as well.
I'm talking about CC, as you just said there. Yeah, Kuzenbo in the solo lane. Someone we've not seen too much of. He comes in and out of fashion. Had a lot of changes, I would say, over the years. Less about, well, damage, but more about survivability and rotations of abilities.
Yeah, it's kind of the ability to disrupt. I think disruption is the real name of the game right now for Kuzenbo. That Sumo Slam is going to be up more often now with the use of your Shell Spikes. And yes, you'll still kill enemy players using Shell Spikes if you time it well enough, but it's more as I'm not trying to kill you with this ability, but trying to get up my 1 and my 3 simultaneously. You use both of those abilities, then pop the 2, absorb some damage, and then you get in a position to do it again very, very quickly.
Definitely feels like a Magi's Blessing sort of game from Obey from multiple members, but here's some pressure onto Lawbster. Dashes away from all the damage, drops the apple on the head too. Prime just uses ultimate though, and in goes Faeles. Or no, he doesn't. He was trying to get out.
I think so. He couldn't really decide, and I think Obey is going to make the decision for him. He goes out. It's first blood for CaptainTwig.
Nice peel from Xaliea just to make sure Twig didn't get caught out too much there by Ducky, who was around on low health. And that's an interesting pressure from Obey then. First blood in the books on Twig, on one of his auto-attacking god warriors that he loves to play.
It's a really weird fight though. I mean, Twig starts the engagement by taunting Faeles, and Prime gets rooted by Lawbster just out of range, but could have used beads or used the ultimate to confirm damage right away. Decides not to. Instead, he decides to try and focus out Lawbster, who has an easy escape route without the CC there from CaptainTwig. And then Faeles kind of bails Obey out of danger by up-downing in a spot where there were 3 members around him, and Lawbster didn't want to keep that engagement going. It seems like communication still needs to be worked on here in the fall split between these 2 teams. That's especially uncharacteristic for Twig and Prime. You know, even though this team hasn't seen a lot of success as of late, these 2 have played together for a long enough time that it surprises me to see that.
Definitely a critical split for the Obey boys here as well. Thinking of how their year's gone so far, the fans at home probably a little bit impatient around Obey and how their performances have been. Obviously high hopes at the start of the year with how Worlds went and the roster changes that followed, but it's not worked out as well as he would have hoped. No LAN results, no LAN attendances from these Obey boys since Worlds, and well, This is 4 splits, so this is the one that matters the most.
Hey, Twig was here for the United Invitational. Came for the All-Star event, but outside of that, you're right. It's been noticeably absent for the Obey guys. And it's definitely a disappointment overall in the fall split. I mean, if you would have told me coming in that it's a mid-lane meta, I'd expect Prime to be near the top of the league.
Double whoop and Prime goes straight to the sky. The juke out from Lawbster's good to get away, but HalfDevil is going to be a casualty there. In comes Funballer, though, as Twig got a little bit too greedy for Lawbster. That's going to get the ultimate out of iRaffer. Just a 1-for-0 exchange for now in favor of Obey.
Really good bait there by iRaffer. He dodges some CC to get close enough to find that taunt. And Lawbster just didn't really respect that damage. No beads in response to that Athena taunt. No dash away. No use of ultimate to give yourself CC immunity. Just kind of accepted his fate in that spot, and where that might have been a good turnaround opportunity for SK. I think if Lawbster leads with his apple in that spot to give himself CC immunity and return it onto iRaffer point blank range, you're not missing that, then that's a turnaround for SK potentially.
Both the Hunters now have those Devour's Gauntlets online about the same sort of period of time here. A little bit of a lead for Ataraxia, which we mentioned at the start of the game was probably from getting that speed buff on his own and the additional farm there. Back to the solo lane we go, and the builds are relatively similar, and the gods are, well, relatively similar cousins, I'd say.
Yes, the reptilian lane right now between these two, and we're not going to see any action at all. Those two might slap it up occasionally, like we just got a chance to take a look at, but overall, they're looking for team fight and the ability to just sit in front of the enemy ADCs, and that's what Ducky's really particularly looking to do, is shut down Ataraxia and PrettyPriMe. That's why I think this Kuzenbo pick is pretty solid, because he makes it so that you don't want to auto-attack anyone around him because of those shell spikes, and then his ability to just absorb those hits and return a lot of that damage right back.
Left-hand side, taunt from iRaffer, but HalfDevil was there to turn this around. Ataraxia is way more damage than bargained for. He will get away with the airstrike, though. Be able to fall back to base there, but it was a nice little bait from HalfDevil, actually. Just holding around the corner, waiting for the aggression from Obey.
Yeah, well done there by SK's support. And this Nox, started by Dardes, of course, popularized by the Mouse Sports support, but
it's not fun to play against you now. It's
no,
really not. It's great fun to play.
No, it is. It's
not gonna lie.
It's the shutdown, you don't get to play and I do sort of feeling, which
especially when you can telegraph your lane opponents as a support player and you see it coming, you're like, haha, 2.
Yeah, you wanted to do something there? Why don't you just not
give me your beads?
Yeah, I'll be taking those. Thank you very much. And then in the late game, man, when like a soul laner dives you and you just Nox combo them and they insta die, that is the best feeling.
Support your attack. You don't get a chance to do that. Twig though going to taunt Faeles and get the beads out of Faeles. Lobster's round the corner, sets up a bit of damage on his zone away iRaffer at the same time, and gets Faeles out of the danger zone at the cost of those beads. Faeles though, interested to see the builds of Ravens, because assassin based now, he's not tanky. Do you need the survivability of the Shifter's Shield and the tankier item still?
You don't need it, but it doesn't hurt you, because you need to be such close range as Robin to really deal your damage. He doesn't have any range at all. But I think this is more just he's really respecting the Freya damage in the early to mid game with the Shifter Shield, because it gives you physical and magical protection. And Freya Erlong Shen can be so aggressive even in the early game that he wanted at least a little bit of protection.
iRaffer and Prime getting aggressive, but HalfDevil's here, and so is Chudabok. Into play comes Funballer around the corner. Faeles is waiting patiently. He's actually zoning Twig away at the moment. But he's going to get the ultimate out of iRaffer, and him and Prime will disengage, costing them their ultimates just for that of Funballers.
Prime really starting to do his damage already, though, isn't he? I mean, that pulsed ability, whatever. I'm just thinking of pulse because of old Freya, but
Northern Lights.
Whenever you use that Northern Lights and your Aurora Blade combination, it does a lot of damage, let me tell you. But I think that we'll see upgraded shells start to become more common because of it. HalfDevil already has one that will absorb that auto attack and make it a lot less effective. And you can really turn fights very quickly onto Freyas. I mean, think of how often, with old Freya, they pop their pulse, and then you disarm them and kill them instantly. Same idea.
Molotov, it knocked up crit. One more attack could do it, but he gets in the wall and jukes away, but into the dust again of the damage. The chase is over, though, as Ataraxia couldn't get up and down with the airstrike in time.
Patience, man. I think Ataraxia just got to be more patient in that spot. The only way you drop that kill is if you airstrike the wrong way. If you just hold your ground, Funball can buy some time, yes, by going into the wall, but then his options as soon as he comes out of the wall are very limited. Even if someone shows up at that time, you airstrike, kill him, and then use it to get away.
And I think that's the issue. He was doing it so quick, is because they were worried about a quick rotation to defend him. So get in, get out, get the burst, but it cost him a kill. Did force Funballer to... Actually, it didn't force Funballer to go back at all. He stayed in lane.
No, he's got that already some good lifesteal there. But Funballer does know that he bought beads, right? Because he's been Athena taunted into Jing Wei knocked up how many times so far this game, and hasn't died yet.
Listen, I was gonna say confidence.
Yeah, hasn't died yet.
Confidence.
But I don't think he's gonna live through the next one if Ataraxia continues to get more damage and more crit chance.
Well, Funballer and Faeles were the two attendees from SK Gaming who made it to the All-Star event at EU United Invitational as well. So they've had a bit of fun for themselves as well, bit of victories for a change, and that's not real shots, it's just the situation they found themselves in this split. As Faeles has to beads after the taunt, absorb the whole banish, has to use his ult too. Both Relic and the ultimate consumed on survival for Faeles.
Good choice of pathing there by Faeles. By going that way, it brings CaptainTwig up, and then he can't follow you up and over that wall. Well done.
Ataraxia getting aggressive, knowing that Faeles is back in base. HalfDevil and Lawbster in air, but HalfDevil's like, save me, Lawbster, save me! And at the end, his teammate falls. HalfDevil soon after, and PrettyPriMe gets himself a double kill.
Prime is just way too far ahead already. Look at the net worth charts. He is up nearly 1,000 gold over Lawbster right now. Prime has been able to clear waves very quickly. It's what new Freya really brings. She can clear the wave very, very easily, and then try and rotate around the map and get her camps. And then once she gets her farm, she still has that same sort of oh no moment where you realize that you just don't have the defense to handle it.
Well, so far Freya's looking good to do a little bit better so far in terms of win percentage than the Baron Samedi so far in the Pro League in this split. We'll see if this continues, however. He's got his second relic available, still not base PrettyPriMe. Is that greedy?
A little bit, but he had his ultimate, then he used it, and everyone was dead. So it's not that greedy anymore.
It's been 2 levels.
It's been 2 levels. Well, technically
He's still
3.
here.
Yeah, there's farm to get, Hindu man. Let's go. We gotta clear the map while we can. This is where this is the spot to back.
Did I cast a curse him on purpose? I mean, that's not a cast a curse. I should call him out before it happened.
Yeah, that's true.
Even better, but he will back this time.
Hey,
round.
that's Sir PrettyPriMe to you.
Never calling him that. To be fair, Prime's the only one that I probably would call that.
He deserves it.
Yeah, PrettyPriMe.
Okay, but
there's
no way Prime.
Well.
I know, yeah, I know. It's crazy.
The world is getting old.
I'll tell you what, I feel ancient most days. Can you imagine Prime trying to, with that hair, trying to put like a knight's helmet on? It would just like sit up on top of his head. It wouldn't actually like
a springy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like it's possible.
It's some sort of like anime thing where he's like in the middle of a battle and then his hair poofs up and then his helmet leaves him and he's like, oh no.
Funballer jumps in the wall, but preemptively, iRaffer was very aware of that, although the taunt, little bit to be required. The Aegis and beads not really needed from Funballer there, but he was definitely worried about the aggression, because there's aggression around the red buff right now.
Nice double taunt into the double whoop there. Oh, where did Faeles go? He was there a moment ago, but Prime gonna put him down and HalfDevil alongside him. Early Polynomicon, dude. That did over 50% of his health.
There was an Athena dunk there too. I just want to say that was exactly the same time they both hit. That's why I nearly vomited in my mouth, because all the damage came out of nowhere, and Faeles just have a little bit of health.
And again, to just give people context, how much do you think Asilla Root Crush is doing at that time?
Oh, here we go.
Polynomicon.
We're defending Freya. Is that what we're doing here, right?
I'm just saying, there's other burst damage mages in the game.
Well, right now, Obey, after the season they've had so far, are looking to get off the 4 split in a good tone, and SK Gaming are really up under it already. 6 kills down, about 5,500 gold, 1 gold fury, and 8,000 experience nearly.
Yeah, but Ducky, top player damage out of the solo lane with that Kuzumbo.
Don't laugh at, like, I've seen, just lately, Kuzumbo, doesn't matter what role he's in, I've seen a lot of supports just lately get top damage.
Did Twig teach you to put some respect on the Kuzumbo name?
I don't play it.
With the skill shot versus pros.
It's too easy now for me to play. That's why.
Oh yeah, that's why. Yeah,
I don't play it.
Of course, yeah. I mean, we all knew that before you said it.
Yeah, I mean, I played that aggression dude, and he was so excited.
God, he has it up already. That is absurd.
So what happens is when you pop the 2 and you get the reflect, the minions that aggro you and deal damage to you are actually lowering your cooldown as well, not just the gods. And as you can see, by maxing out ability out, you actually get less time off the cooldowns, which means you can spar it a little bit more often. Taking trades with a Kuzumbo is not wise.
That was absurd. He pushed him, popped 2, and pushed him. That was insane.
PrettyPriMe, though. He pushed him to the sky for a second. There's a taunt from iRaffer yet again, just slightly off the mark, but it was a good juke from Lawbster. In fairness there. Twig, though, throw out the pin just to remind him a little bit of what Poke's really like. But here comes an Athena ult because Ataraxia needed some help.
Funball used his ultimate, but that leaves Raffer in a good spot to get that taunt on Funball potentially. Instead, he'll settle for HalfDevil as CaptainTwig coming around the top.
Yeah, Twig is wrapping round, and even though HalfDevil may feel good right now, Twig's looking at keeping the Hunter busy. HalfDevil looking to run for his life. Great dash. Good taunt, follow-up power, but he's still alive.
Shell, good for the moment, but CaptainTwig still tanking up this tower. Great
silence.
taunt there from Raffer. That'll take care of HalfDevil, and Funball just a formality.
But where's the rest of the team? What is the rest of SK Gaming doing at that moment in time?
Nothing.
They're on the right-hand side of the map, no reinforcements. Twig able to rotate, and nothing happens elsewhere, which is really where SK struggled there. You're looking for a response of some kind.
It took Obey time. HalfDevil did all he could in that spot. He did a good job of staying alive as long as possible, but someone's got to come and give some assistance at some point. SK just didn't seem particularly interested. Faeles and Lawbster, both a little bit weak in their defense, but so were everyone on Obey Alliance on the left side.
And now they got a tier 1 and a tier 2 tower here, Obey Alliance. No one from SK could get to this left-hand side, as these two men in your screen were doing a very good job of controlling the jungle avenue.
Also, we're able to strip away that red buff from SK. Purple buff may have gotten stripped away as well. So Obey Alliance is in a commanding position. They've got gods that are incredible from ahead. Sobek from ahead feels unstoppable because he just is so tanky, he does so much damage and brings so much CC. CaptainTwig fits that exact same bill. PrettyPriMe does way more damage than anyone can handle. Ataraxia is very slippery and does a lot of damage. It's going to be tough for SK to come back.
Let's see what they can do, though. The Gold Fury has been pulled by Obey, and this could be the last hurrah for SK already, I would say. They're trying to get their way back into this game because this lead is growing up. Twig is caught, and Silence took a lot of poke. Apple a day keeps Twig away, as Raffer's going to come in and eat the apple too. But it's not enough damage to force out Obey yet.
Good fight so far from Lawbster. He just got a beads away from PrettyPriMe as well. HalfDevil's right there with the combo, but there was no follow-up.
HalfDevil will escape for now, but Ataraxia may chase, and Ataraxia will chase and pick up the kill on HalfDevil. Twig's distracting as a giant turtle, and Ducky's offended by there being another turtle on the map, as Prime removes Faeles once more.
Faeles, not like this, buddy. It's a double kill for PrettyPriMe. Great taunt around the back. Prime's already got 3.
And it could be number 4, but he's only going to nick my poor Kappa.
Wrong turtle, boy. You got to get the bigger one.
It's going to be a delayed quadra here. Meanwhile, Twig in the mid lane should be able to get a tier 2 tower now. Gold Fury still stands here. Ataraxia did survive and is now returning from base as Ducky will be a delayed quadra kill for PrettyPriMe on this Freya in the mid lane. Actually, it's not even going to be a Gold Fury or a Pyromancer. I think it's going to go straight fire.
Yeah, no reason to get the lesser objectives right now. Get the bigger one and then head on over to Gold Fury whenever you really feel like it, because that's what it feels like now. I mean, a Freya with a 4-level lead against Robin right there, man. That was gross by PrettyPriMe. Polynomicon is the oh no moment whenever you play against Freya. Every time you see that Polynomicon get finished, it means that Banish 2-1 combo goes from ouch, that hurt, to what do I feel like doing for the next 35 seconds because I'm on respawn.
This is only game 1, but I'm looking at SK Gaming already, and it's the start of the split and worrying for them already with how the year's gone so far for this team. And also with the fact that Obey have not been great this year either, and going, well, this is one of the games that SK could look to take games from. This is a dominant game 1, though, where I'm like, I don't know how SK is going to do this year with how this is looking.
Well, I think they might do better if they ban Freya next game. I think that's where they'll probably look to start. Lawbster had a really good team fight there. I mean, he found the maybe a little bit lucky, maybe a little bit calculated golden apple on the CaptainTwig. He got a really good strife on top left Harpies in order to get the beads away from PrettyPriMe. Just barely there in time to get away from Ataraxia. So Lawbster had a pretty good fight, but he's only level like 15. He doesn't do anything right now. He had very little pen, only Divine Ruin. It's just not enough at this point.
I definitely say Discord is one of those, for me, that ramps as the game goes on, and definitely you feel more of an impact later in the game than earlier on. But when doing that, when you're against a Freya, where you talk about later on in the game, you don't really want to be against that either.
No, Freya is better than you in the later stages. I think Freya is better now late game than she was before. I think that before, her sweet spot was 3-4 items, and then you could kind of handle her with shells, and it took her time to burst you down. Every auto was hitting you for 700, but when you've got 2k health, that takes a couple autos to do. Now, her combo, if you get whooped without beads or Aegis, you're taking a guaranteed 1800 or whatever it is. You're in trouble very, very quickly. So I think Freya's a little bit scarier to me now in the late game than she was before.
SK may be able to get a tier 1 on the left-hand side here because they do have Chernobog for Funballer. So getting that extra gold is really important for them, and he can also ult back to this fight if he so chooses, but instead he's going to base. Full minion wave on its way for Obey on this right-hand side, and they may not even need it.
Caught onto Ducky, and Ducky already nearly dead, but he did return some damage onto PrettyPriMe with those thorns.
Nice little whoop out from PrettyPriMe there, just to slow Lawbster down in the combo that could have followed up. Back to base goes Ducky for now.
Talisman of Energy has been picked up here by Obey. That's little wind sort of effects you see around these players. Xaliea is the one who has it. I think it is amazing for these sorts of situations. You're constantly killing waves, there's constantly minions dying around you, and it's not just movement speed, it's attack speed, which is great when you have a Freya and a Jingwei on your team. I think this item is criminally underpurchased.
Really good pick up from Obey, and I think we will see more of it as the season progresses. Twig takes aggro and then hands that off to Xaliea as the Phoenix under pressure. HalfDevil whoops into the sky and removed from the map by Prime alongside Lawbster, and now Faeles is the next on the list that has to try and get away, uses everything in his arsenal just to survive. The Phoenix, however, will not.
No, right side Phoenix already gone. Obey has their choice. Do we try and just end the game right here, or do we go towards mid Phoenix? Without a healthy wave, that one coming in could do the job, but Funball fails and Ducky all there means a little bit too greedy.
iRaffer connects the taunt and the pluck hits Ducky too. Ducky goes to run away, instead he ends up back in base. Fails though, gets the first kill of the game for SK Gaming, but it was iRaffer who was tanking up that middle Phoenix all the while, going for that aggression. Game 1 could be going the way of Obey, but I don't think they can end just yet with the respawns coming through.
It's only 24 minutes, so these respawn timers aren't that long quite yet. It's just felt like an eternity because we've been watching PrettyPriMe obliterate people all game long.
Now we're talking about the Freya being strong, and obviously, yeah, that's going to be the first thing, but where exactly in the game did it go wrong at the point of the game? Not just like bans, but I mean, like, specifically, was there a moment? Is it around the red buff? Was it because of Obey's start?
Obey's start certainly helped. I think SK's dual lane being so far behind all game long was a real detriment. I wonder if Ducky, if he goes for something pressure-oriented, like, hi-rez is able to rotate a little bit more, maybe that makes an impact in the middle of the map.
I'm looking at HalfDevil and Funball, and I think that's the one thing, is that Obey recognized where SK's confidence would be in, like, the fighting potential of Chernobog and Nox together. So by pressuring that lane the whole time, SK haven't had an answer to that. Like, we've not seen Faeles counter gank over in that lane at all. Instead, they were kind of left to fend for themselves, which just played into it even more so and allowed Prime to get big too. Yeah,
this 0-6 for HalfDevil is not looking particularly good right now, I'll say. I mean, when you fall behind as Nox support, you are in a world of hurt very quickly because unlike traditional Guardians, you're not getting those base stats as you level up to give yourself some inherent tankiness. Yeah. You're getting a little bit of power, and it's like, oh, it's not what I need.
And funny enough, we've mentioned the masks being available, but we've still not really seen too many looked at. Maybe some tier 2s of the masks, but no finalized one, I would say, here. And it's a bit surprising not seeing a low nose maybe on HalfDevil, which it'd help him.
I think if he were ahead, maybe, but then if you're ahead, maybe you want to utilize your damage a little bit more. This is an opportunity where maybe it would have been good, but are just outright protections and health better than percent damage taken being taken off the board at this point when you're already this far behind?
I mean, you won't get one shot by Prime.
Yeah, you'll get 2 shot instead. That's
true, because he's got Rod of Tahuti now to add to that mix, so when everyone's under 50%, take some more ability damage, boys.
That'll feel pretty good. If Ducky gets taunted below 50%, a 2-1 combo from Prime is going to end it.
I actually think there's a chance Ducky could actually kill PrettyPriMe this game.
Just based on Thorn's Shell Spike?
Yes. I think that's where Prime's damage is at, that he could actually kill himself.
He'd probably do a solid 40% of his own health by
he's not got much sustain is the worry there. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no Bancroft's talent or any inherent lifesteal there for the Freya, so certainly an option, but
that's the dream.
That is the dream.
Let's go, Ducky.
You can press 2 and Thorns. Do it.
The SK player of the game right there. MVP on your screen. Can he do it? iRaffer gonna lead them in. Xaliea looking towards the front line. All in on Ducky. And Prime did take a bit of poke, but not enough to get a kill. And as he ults away from Faeles' ult, he returns the damage back. A lot of defense used by SK, but without Ducky now, great carpet of death out from Lawbster there. And HalfDevil could follow suit soon after. But just look at the Fire Giant allowing them to stay in this engagement.
Yeah, this is a good fight here from SK. It's just too little, too late. That is, if this is a 8,000 gold lead instead of a 12, 13, 22,000 gold lead.
Usually go 12, 13, 22.
Look, it wouldn't have worked at 12 or 13. It doesn't work at 22. That's all I'm trying to
It's
say.
almost 1,000 gold a minute, which is absolutely crazy in Season 5.
Yeah, that's
I mean, I've seen it. Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, you can see like a 10k gold lead in 10, 15 minutes, but 22k at 27. Rough for SK Gaming as the Phoenix on the right-hand side falls for the second time. The middle Phoenix is about to have the same issue if it does get a chance to even spawn, because the fire minions are running straight towards the Titan room.
Prime just waiting for the taunt to immediately kill HalfDevil and Ducky. Ducky respawned just in case, we have to tell you that for legal purposes, but it didn't actually matter.
21-1. The Titan will fall, and Obey Alliance will start off the Pro League with 1 game advantage so far in their first set against SK Gaming.
That was the PrettyPriMe show, man. Look, I know I said I don't think Freya's going to be doing as well as everyone thinks. That game is as well as everyone thinks she's going to be doing. That's for sure. That was a hard carry by the Freya.
So Freya. That's kind of where that's at. You saw the player damage, you saw the lead that he managed to develop there. Do we expect to see more bans towards Freya throughout the history of SPL now? At least until some changes,
maybe. Certainly. Okay. If SK aren't first pick and don't ban Freya, Coop is fine with them because they are trolling their game. That is the only, that is my, that has got to be it, right? There's no way you get dunked on by Freya going 13, 14-0, whatever it was, and then being like, I think we could do it again. Well, I don't think we're going to see that this game.
Possibly a bit of a formality here, but who do you think was MVP? I'm going to say Raffer because his taunt set up a lot of the damage from Prime.
I'm not going to say that.
I know.
Because it was Prime.
I guess
did all the
much.
damage.
I guess as much.
Yeah. Sir, PrettyPriMe for you. Put the proper respect on his name. It's
Dave,
maybe.
How about that?
If that
in the
was
game two. Let's get it over to Tom and Taco to break down game 1 and work out exactly what SK can do game 2.
So as an analyst, as a commentator, it's my job to, I'm a professional opinion haver. And sometimes, all of the time, our opinion is kind of backed in some sort of factual, Prime, we're sorry. You crushed it on the Freya. Traditional mage, you need not. The mid laner here for Obey did his job and then some. I mean, what a performance. 13-0-6. 13-0-6. Can we get a taco cam real quick? Is that possible?
I believe the score line earlier for the Freya was something along the lines of 10-1 and some handful of assists, but yeah, double digits. Freya seems pretty good right now.
Yeah, PrettyPriMe, fantastic job. There were a whole bunch of stats, but they're all just irrelevant.
13-0-6.
That's the stat that matters. Freya came through, stomped him down. SK got a kill, but Freya got all of the other ones.
I do have to add on to something that you said earlier, though, because you said I'm a professional opinion haver, and that's perfectly acceptable. But as a streamer, I am never wrong.
That's true.
Just got to remind you guys about that one, okay? Before we forget anything else.
So you stream every day? I stream
we are never wrong. Just keep that in mind.
I only
it's
stream
impossible.
1/3 of the month, so I'm 1/3 never wrong.
Yeah, that's 33% higher than other people.
100% right now was PrettyPriMe, though. All the fantastic words in the book go directly to this man. He just played out of his mind. The combination of everything on the team was also interesting, not just the pure damage. I want to give a shout out to his use of the Banish into some of the combinations that we saw. I really liked Banish into Athena Slam into nothing else because you're already dead.
I do think that the Athena taunts really did help out quite a lot here, at least from keeping Kuzenbo to become a problem, and that was the important part as well. Yeah. I think that SK actually did have a composition that, given this game at a 40-minute plus setting, I really couldn't tell you. It's a coin flip by then who's going to come out on top, because I think that you end up with a situation where Kuzenbo can appropriately handle the carries like that Freya or even the Chernobog. It just never really got to that point for SK. They were just suppressed too early on, and PrettyPriMe just kept that pressure going the whole way through at iRaffer. I think that those side components are really what helped seal the deal.